Okay, so let me first introduce myself. I'm Manthan Dave. I work at Chris as a solution architect, and I've been a Magento master as well. So you community people knows me very well, as I've been contributing on the Stack Exchange community forum and GitHub as well. So you've seen my happy face almost all when you are searching any issue for the Google for the Magento. Yeah, and along with me, I have my friend Manav.
Hello, Om. I am Manav Padhariya. I am working as a software developer at Chris Technolabs, and I am one of the key GitHub repository leader in the open source channel, and looking forward for this presentation.
Right. So today we are going to talk about the most trending topic in the Adobe Commerce space, that is API Mesh, App Builder, and Adobe I/O. But before we more deep dive into that specific topic, right, let us first understand the evolving horizons, like how the current trends is going in for the e-commerce in the market. So, yeah. So if we understand or if we see the commerce from the long back year ago, it's like just add to cart, checkout, and order, right? But down the line and over the years, this e-commerce has evolved. So if we look at the horizons of the commerce, we have now headless commerce to build or to provide the better customer experience. If we more deep dive into it, we have a composable commerce as well, wherein you are dividing your backend into the different chunks and smaller components. And then we have AI and personalization. So AI, we all know, it's everyone's favorite, ChatGPT, and we have a personalization as well. So based on your past purchase history, based on your browsing history, right, the Commerce Foundation will itself the recommendation the products, right? And then we have a augmented reality and virtual reality as well. So commerce is now not only for the smaller products, but people are now selling the furniture as well on the commerce, right, on their website or in the mobile app. But the more concern is how that particular product looks like at my home. So that's where your AR and VR will help you. So you can simply click on the Try Me feature that is integrated with any of the AR, VR services, and you can locate to your space, and you will be able to see like these products will be, looks like in this way at my home and particular space. So we see like this is in the trends, but why this is in the trends? And this is not about the trending the e-commerce, but this is a, creating the future and shape of the future commerce as well. So now we need to understand why this is in the trends.
Because of the challenges we face in the traditional commerce. So we face many challenges in the traditional commerce as listed here. So there are listed challenges called limited scalability, outdated technology, this poor user experience, and high maintenance cost, and all the issue around that in traditional commerce.
So when we talk about the challenges, right, to overcome on those challenges, we always think about next-gen architecture. And when I say the next-gen, everyone came on that particular thought, it is a MACH, right? So MACH is the revolution for the next commerce, wherein we all know the definition, like when it's all about MACH, it's a microservices, API first, cloud native, and headless. But how exactly MACH will help you to build the scalable e-commerce platforms? So MACH have that capabilities, and it's provide that capabilities like the three core capabilities, that is your scalability, extensibility, and flexibility. So if you divide your legacy system into these four major core components, it will give you and boost your e-commerce at scalable and flexible way. That's where your MACH came into the picture. But if we talk about the Adobe, right, it is everyone's favorite. So Adobe is also keeping the good pace in the composable architecture, right? Previously, it was a Magento Commerce or Magento open source only. But now when we talk about the Adobe Commerce, right, Adobe is also having multiple products. So it have like a marketing cloud, creative cloud, and PDF and science as well. But most of us favorites are the marketing cloud and the commerce cloud, right? Wherein our products exist like Adobe Commerce, to build and to give the experience-driven commerce. We have a AEM as well. To do the customer data analysis, we have Adobe Analytics as well, right? But how about connecting all together? Someone say that we can use the API or GraphQL to integrate both of the system together. But what if I ask you to connect all together, right? So I understand data layer is the key, but we need one centralized system or centralized component to bring all this together to serve the better personalized experience. And that's where the revolution with the API Mesh happened.
So here, the revolution start with the API Mesh, App Builder, and Adobe I/O events. So where we will see how all these work as a combined, truly composable architecture in next slide. So this is the truly composable architecture, which is purely cloud native and serverless architecture. First of all, we see the Adobe Commerce functions down there, and it is having the Commerce Foundation, our Magento, and which is having the services like microservices like live search, product reach, and catalog services, and there are many more. And there are ready to rock services. We can have those services whenever we want. And we have custom events, right? In our Magento, we have commerce events. So how this works, how this all works? Our commerce event will communicate with the IO events, and those integration will be done in the app builder. And app builder will have the API mesh whole orchestration. And we see that there is a third-party services and system here, right? So it means like we can have the review system, or we can have the asset system in third-party service. So all these communicate with the API mesh with just API. Okay, we will see all this in detail later, and all this will go to our storefront. And from the storefront, we can utilize the data and events.
Yeah, so when it comes to data and events, I mean, we have seen like multiple system is there, IO events there, app builder is there, right? But we have now ample amount of data. So we have a questions like how to analyze this data, right? Or how to use this data in a better way to provide the personalized and better experience. So that's where your AEP connector will be there as a processor. So what AEP connector will do, AEP connector will get the data and events from the storefront and the customer. It will process the data, and it will pass to data to the other products of the Adobe. Example, Adobe Analytics, Adobe Target, and Adobe Journey Optimizer as well. So your processed data will be goes to the other products of the Adobe, and by utilizing this, you can plan your different campaign, you can plan your marketing activity, and you can target those customers to generate the more ROI and reduce the bounce rate. Next. So if we talk about the entire composable architecture we have seen earlier said, these are three core components we have seen. That is the API mesh, Adobe IO Runtime, and the app builder. So these three will work as an independently, but at the end, they all are connected with each other. So if we look at the API mesh, I mean, by looking at it, we can understand like it's teaching the Adobe's and third-party services together to power the shopping experience. Then we have an app builder. App builder is actually used to extend the native capabilities of the Adobe Commerce features in a low-code and a scalable environment. And then we have Adobe IO events. So you've seen API mesh, we have seen app builder. But it is the IO events which actually gives the trigger point, like where to change the data and where to send the data. So that's where your Adobe IO Runtime came into the picture.
Here we see the architecturing tomorrow is written in the middle. So we face challenges while upgrading our systems, whether it's Magento or any third-party systems. We definitely face the challenges when we upgrade the system. So with this architect, we can resolve those challenges.
Now let us understand each topic in detail. So when I say that API mesh, when I say the API mesh, what the first thing came into our mind, it's a kind of a middleware or API gateway, right? And that's the correct thought as well. So what API mesh will do, API mesh will actually an API orchestration layer, which brings the multiple services together and send it to your external system and storefront as well. So let's take an example. Let's say in Adobe, you have one store which is running on the Adobe Commerce, and you have a third-party services integrated as well, right? So when API mesh was not there, what we will actually do, we will integrate the separate API with each and every storefront. So Adobe Commerce and API mesh gives that flexibility, so you can connect your multiple services together, and you can serve that and send it to your storefront. So it's good for the storefront developer or headless developer. They don't require to do now separate authentication and login process for the different system. It can be easily configured into the API mesh, and then API mesh will serve the purpose. So they can just run the queries, they can fetch that API mesh thing, and it starts showing the result. It will help you in the GraphQL as well. So it's not about only the clubbing the services together, but you can also combine the multiple GraphQL as well. So let us take the example of multiple endpoints. So here we have showcased the two separate endpoints. One is for the products, and second one is for the extensions. So wherein you have a different payloads and fields like item, name, and SKU. And in the other extension, we have a styling as well. Now, if you want to do it in a traditional way, you have to call these different endpoints, and then you will able to integrate it into the front-end part. But with the API mesh, you can create one configuration, extend this both, and provide a single query to your front-end developer. So they have that all the parameters in one query itself. And it is not about only the endpoints, but we have a good configuration for the SaaS identifier as well.
So here we see the diagrams, which is like this is the traditional diagram, and this is the newly created diagram. So what we see here, so we don't need to like work for integrations and much complex development. We just need to improve our data model, like how our data will communicate with the system. So here we see there are 3 different instances, right? One is the server-side module, another is the micro front-end. Let's say we are having a, in our Magento system, we are having a page or checkout which is like coming from a microservice, right? Or micro front-end. So that we have, and it is using the REST, the server-side module using the REST, and we have a headless storefront, like again a third-party PWA or like already available PWA, so which will be in GraphQL. So when we want to integrate any SaaS here, right? We need to create the integration. We need to, as a developer, we need to work more on that, and it will create a mess. And to resolve that mess, we need to use this mess. So here we see all this combined data is going to the API mesh, and it is communicating to the individual services, which is resolving lot of development experience issues. Moving ahead, so the main crux here, the app builder. What is app builder? What it does? So it is used to build web apps plus
Connectors and
SF connectors, right? Single page apps, I would say. Okay, so it is what it is. It is a cloud native serverless extensibility framework. So app builder is an extensibility framework where you can accommodate the listed services which we have like said before, where we can use available Adobe services and third-party services there, and whole system will work as a together in a large level enterprise project. So what you see here, this is the stack of app builder. So first of all, CLI and SDK. As a developer, we can communicate with the app builder using CLI and SDK. We can automate the process, we can run the commands, we can do the stuff. Here we see the runtime events. Runtime events, let's say we are having one piece of code, or we are having one execution model which will be from third-party system, right? So if we want to execute those, it will be executed using this feature runtime. It will execute the third-party custom code in the Adobe infra. We see the developer tools. So there are many developer tools which generally available for all the available frameworks. The main thing is cloud service. So what we can do, what cloud service does, it manages the running and triggering and customizing and optimizing the digital experience, like how your product will be deployed and how it decides the journey of your product. We see the custom events. So custom events will communicate with the webhooks and journaling with the available systems like Adobe Commerce. And the unique thing here is Spectrum UI framework. So to keep up the same UI throughout the system, we use this framework which is based on the React, right? Where you can build your microservices. I mean, you can build your micro front end actually, and those micro front end can be added here.
Yeah, kind of single page applications as well.
Right.
Yeah.
So I have already explained the benefits, and these are listed here. The architecture of this, like it is event-driven architecture, right? So everything will be communicated runtime. There will be events, it will be communicating with events and all the services together. And it is a cloud native. So you don't need to worry about the DevOps thing. It will be handled by system itself. And the low-code environment. So in this case, as a developer, we don't need to worry about the integrations and the performance issues created by the integrating like third-party system. We just need to focus on the business logic, on the business requirement. And we see the scalable and global benefit here, which means the infra is located in co-locations globally. So basically it's hosted on, we all know that it's hosted on AWS in background, so it is a co-located system. Moving ahead.
Yeah, now, I mean, we have seen like what is App Builder, what is the benefits of App Builder, but questions came into our mind like, will that help, or will it is a replacement of our custom module, or will it help us to integrate with any of the third-party system, or will it be a use for to build the front end and customer experience as well? And all the answers will be given over here. So with the help of App Builder, you can extend the Adobe's native core feature in 3 ways. Wherein we have a core services. So you can extend your default behavior of your Adobe Commerce modules by using the App Builder in a low-code scalable environment. And you can change the business logic. You can build the API, and you can upload that extension on the marketplace as well. In terms of the middleware, so we have seen like now in every commerce we have an external system integration, right? So this is where this App Builder will help. You can create your own app as an external system, right? And that is out of your Magento's or Adobe Commerce repository, right? It is out of your app code directory. So how it is beautiful, like when the new version gets released, right? You don't have that headache to implement or upgrade those modules as well. You can upgrade it anytime. It have a like SaaS-like upgradability. We'll see in the coming slide. And then we have a user experience as well. So with the help of App Builder, you can build the project-specific and your business requirement-specific the front end as well.
Just I wanted to add one point that this App Builder was previously known as a Firefly, and it was there in Adobe's solutions, and it has been introduced with the Adobe in 2020. Yeah, moving ahead.
Yeah. Now the core point, or I would say the core component of this tech stack is the I/O event. So we learn App Builder, we learn API Mesh, but without the I/O events, it will not be I would say a complete 360 landscape. So I/O events is basically I would say a middleware or a e-commerce tech stack which provides, to fetch the commerce events in a runtime environment. So what it exactly will do, it will fetch the commerce events based on the certain actions. Example, when someone is placing the order. Example, when someone is registering on the portal, right? So it will automatically fetch the data and pass that data to your other systems by using the App Builder. So here now we have a complete component wherein you have created the apps through your App Builder. Your I/O events is fetching the data from commerce, and then it's sending the data to your ERP and CRM system as well. So, and we have webhooks as well. So by using the webhooks, you can integrate with the iPaaS system as well. Next. So how exactly these I/O events will look like on your Adobe Commerce backend? So you will require to install Adobe Commerce event plugin over there. That is the official plugin of Adobe Commerce. You can install it, and the detailed steps are given on the Adobe Experience link. Once you install it, you will able to see under the system menu, you will able to see all the events. You can click on the each and every event, and you will able to see the entire payload as well. So you don't require to see from the Swagger or from the Postman. You can see everything from the backend itself. And for the command audience like me, there are the commands as well. I mean, you can run the command like event install and event info, and it will visible or display the payload of all the events. And this is the, I would say, a real-time scenario for Adobe I/O events and App Builder. So let's understand. I mean, there is a merchant who is running Adobe Commerce stores, and it have an integration with the ERP system, CRM system, and PIM system as well. So right now, what we are doing is we are constantly do the API polling, right? So whenever someone places an order on Adobe portal, we have to check it whether this order is placed or not. We have to check it whether this order status is changed or not, right? And sometimes lags in the polling will result in the real-time missing activities as well. But with the help of the I/O events and App Builder, you don't require to do this. That will be done by your I/O events itself. So when someone places the order on your portal, I/O events will grab that event. It will identify which this particular data belongs to which app and which App Builder instance, and it will send the data to that particular apps so that your communication will be smoother. And that's where I would say like it will be a helps while SaaS like upgradability, because it is outside of your Adobe specs. Okay. Yeah.
So now we will see the reference architecture of the thing which we have discussed so far. We will see the example, how it looks like when merchant want a digital experience in the large level system, when the merchant want that he want to scale at that level, right? So this is the diagram of that, where all the communications are happening runtime, okay? first of all, let's say the shopper browser. So customer comes to there and he will see a page. Okay, the page will come from AEM. AEM stands for Adobe Experience Manager, right? It is a CMS. And the AEM page will have the products listed, and the product will come from Magento system, right? Or AEM page is having any information which is coming from microservices or third-party services. So using CIF, CI is a commerce integration framework. Using that, it will communicate with the commerce framework, and it will get the data at real time, whatever it is required. Okay, and the main part, it will be there in App Builder. All the things will be handled there. Like IO event is there, API mesh is there, so all the things will be handled there. And it will be there, like custom apps will be there, like ERP and OMS. Let's say if customer wants something data from ERP, then customer will be there at shopper's browser first, then it will be there in AEM, then it will come in customer app, and then it will be there in external system. Yeah, Manthan.
Yeah, so this is how exactly it is interconnected, and that's where it is give you a more insight, like it is not only used for external system integration, but it will use for to integrate the Adobe Commerce native features as well, or to build your custom features as well on the top of Adobe Commerce. Now we understand about all the three components as an overview, but how to create this app or from where to start? That's what everyone's question. And to create your first app, I mean, being a partner, you all have a Adobe Partner Sandbox account. So you can always request to Adobe for the Partner Sandbox account. Once you have that access account, you can get the access of the developer console as a partner. Once you log into the developer console, you will get the options to create the project, right? So for each and every apps, you need to create a project. So once you create the project, it is very similar to the Commerce Cloud. Those who have worked with it, once you create the project, you will get the workspace like development, staging, and production. After creating those workspace, you will require to do the authentication part, where you can configure your services, you can configure your API by using the OAuth server-to-server connection, and it start functioning. Once that is done, you will require to do the local setup environment. And I would not say the bad thing, but the improvement thing is over here is it have a different technology stack in compared to PHP. So when you set up the local environment, now you will require to set up the node, you will require to set up the NVM, and you will require to set up the Adobe I/O CLI login as well. Once all those local setup is done, you will redirect to the command prompt, and you can run the AIO login, Adobe I/O login. Once that is done, you can create your first app. So this is the command. I mean, you can pass this command AIO app in it and your app name, and it's done. So you will able to see your boilerplate app over there after running the command. There are other detailed steps are also involved in this process, which you can find it from the Adobe Experience link. So this is something we have seen in the theory part, but this is how your Adobe Developer Console look like. So we have a partner sandbox access, wherein we are logged into the Adobe Developer Console, and you will be able to see over there, create a new project and create a new project from template. From there, you will require to create a project, and then you can see the workspace as well, production and staging. Once that is done, this is everyone's favorite, like after creating everything, how does my directory looks like, right? Because that's where we all need to do the customization. So this is how your sample app directory looks like. So we have seen the AEM architecture example in the earlier slide. And for that, we have created this sample app. So it is an AEM sample app. It is exactly beside your app directory, where we do right now the customization for theme and module as well. Okay. And post that, we have a detailed sample app directory structure for that AEM sample app, wherein we see the node modules, wherein we see the actions module, and the configuration file. So it is very similar to the Commerce Cloud. You can do the configuration in your YML file, but to extend your module or to build the customer front experience, you will now require a React knowledge, you will now require a node modules knowledge, and you will need a JavaScript knowledge as well. Then you will be able to extend it. And yeah, I mean, this is the core slide. So one thing I learned from my Magento learning journey to Magento Master is, in the era of AI, in the era of generative AI, chat GPT, we should every day we should be upgrade ourselves, because to build the tomorrow's architecture or build the tomorrow's excellent solution, we have to start it from today. And that's what this slide said. Don't do the architecting tomorrow, but start it from today. And this is not the end.
Oh, so the last thing here, the most dangerous phrase in the English language is, we have always done it this way. We always heard that from our clients or from our colleagues or someone around us. So we should always be optimistic to adapt the new idea. We should think in multiple ways. And that's all, guys. Thank you for coming today, and thank you for attending this session.
Thank you so much, and all right. So we have a time for Q&A, or any questions? Yes, please.
So I would like to know the couple of questions I have. One thing is, for this app builder, do we need a separate license, or Adobe Commerce license would be?
No, so it is a part of your Adobe Commerce license itself as of now. And once you build the app, just to add on, once you build the app, you will able to upload or host your apps as well on the Adobe Commerce space. So they will give you the space. You can do all the testing, and you can upload it over there. So it's a part of that offering.
And an open source customer can take the license separately for the app builder, or it's only for the commerce?
As of now, it is only for Adobe Commerce. But we have seen earlier as well, like previously PWA Studio is only for Adobe Commerce. Previously, Page Builder is only for Adobe Commerce, right? But then they have released it for the open source version as well because of the public demand. And we believe that as a community supporter and contributor, they will release it for sure for the open source as well.
Okay, so I have one more last question.
Yeah.
So right now, Adobe Commerce, we have tons of extensions available, right? Which do integration with ERP, CRM, OMS, WMS, right? So in this app builder, as app builder is new, so we have to start from scratch everything. We have to build all those apps as a scratch, or will not get anything as an app or something?
I would say you should not, you would not require to start it from scratch because business logic of all those modules will remain same, right? It's just the syntax change, or I would say it's a technology change or way of doing that particular thing, right? But not the completely you have to start from scratch.
If the service is already having the API connections, right, then you can directly integrate those as a third-party service.
I'm talking about the extensions. So extensions are in PHP in Adobe Commerce at this moment. But this application we need to build in React or Node.js, right? So we have to transform those PHP to kind of front-end based language. That's what I mean.
That's true. That's what I'm saying. So at the end, but your business logic will remain same, right? It's just a technology change. And right now, what their plan is, where you are uploading the extension, just beside that, there is an apps tab as well. We have seen in the Parul session in the morning. So where you will require to upload the app session separately. So slowly and gradually, it will move the extension from the extension to the apps part.
Okay, thank you. It was very helpful session. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
One question is like same, like is it like or it is also for open source as well? But my other question is like how the pricing is like chargeable to the clients for using the app builder and all the services you mentioned.
So in terms of pricing, it is still in the beta stage or evolving stage. So as of now, they haven't declared it. But as of now, they have mentioned like it is a part of the sandbox section, and the merchant who have already subscribed the Commerce Cloud, they can also use this particular component, API mesh and all. So it is a part of that for now.
And you can have the open source version here also in Adobe App Builder, right? But it will having some sort of events only. Like it won't have the fully functional Adobe Commerce Cloud projects events, right? So that's the way it works.
Thank you.
All right, yeah. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining our session. I hope it will be insightful and helpful.
Thank you.